Hello, hello, and welcome to another developer stream here. I am Tankz0rz, and we have Mr. Bam. How you doing, Bam?
Pretty well. I know I was just complaining to you, and I'm sure the players don't want to hear it. But if you guys hear a lot of squeakiness, it's my chair. I need to get some WD-40 in this thing. Had to get some lumbar support for my back, and I'm constantly shifting around. So if you hear squeaking, no, it's not my cat. No, it's not a mouse in the house.
It's not
It's my
it's
my
not
shifty body.
your knees over there. You don't gotta stretch out your legs a little bit.
It's probably my knees too.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing well. Otherwise, we're keeping busy. Content coming along as always. So
Awesome, great to hear. Well, we're here to talk about tanks, so let's go ahead and talk about tanks.
By the way, I appreciate some of the sympathy people are posting in the chat. Get a masseuse. That's a great idea. Tank side of things, yes. We are still amongst in our Valiant season. And as a very good reminder, this season will be running for a few more weeks up until April 11th. So keep that in mind as you guys are working through all your challenges and marching your way to level 100 if you haven't already done so already. And then recently, and by recently, literally yesterday, we as a community unlocked the Road to Swamp map. Congratulations. So that is now available in-game in World War II as well as Cold War. And we also unlocked it into the custom games. So if you guys are trying to find it right away into the random battle, but maybe aren't getting it, but want to be able to check out all the changes, feel free to dip into custom games and join out some other community members and take a nice stroll through the park. One thing I will mention, we did catch that when we did go live with Swamp, it had a reduced, no, I'm sorry, not a reduced, but we didn't set it with a heightened frequency in the map rotation. So we got on that right away, and I believe even later that afternoon, yesterday, we increased the frequency. So you should be seeing the Swamp map a little bit more often in rotation. And then a quick shout out to West Wheezy, if you're here in the chat and on the stream with us today. Yes, he was one of our community contributors that we picked out of the pool this time around and got him a map label into the map itself. You can see it on the mega map. He's got a Wheezy's Castle listed on there. And funny enough, I saw on Twitter he's running his own little poll and not a poll, little sweepstakes for people to find some Easter egg about him on the map.
Awesome.
But yes, hopefully you guys had a chance to run into the Swamp map and are enjoying it. And yes, congratulations on getting that into the rotation. Up next, I'm sure everyone has seen it, at least for those of you that are playing and participating in the Cold War game mode, Era 3 more specifically. We have released the Wiesel 1A1 tow tank. This is an ATGM only tank, and it's a very, I stressed this last week as well, a very small Wiesel tank indeed. Very quick, upwards of 80 kilometers per hour that it can travel. Get used to pulling that e-brake because that thing comes in very handy for some very quick maneuvers and dodging the other tanks and just getting yourself in a good position to fire that ATGM right into your opponents. So, yes, we are very well aware there is a lot of Wiesels out there in the matches. Very popular tank right now. As always, whenever we release some new tank and it gets a lot of attention, it does kind of oversaturate the ecosystem a little bit. So, you know, either maybe if you can't beat them, join them and see if you can hunt down the Wiesels yourself as a Wiesel. Maybe that will kind of lend a little bit of an aid in terms of combating those Wiesels. But yes, there's a lot of ATGMs flying all around in those matches nowadays. Other recommendation, if you guys are not aware or unfamiliar, we do have some anti-ATGM equipment available to the Cold War tanks that you can always apply to help you give a little bit more awareness if any missiles are coming inbound your way. Sorry, something that just jumped off the page. Sophocles. Is Swamp for all eras in Cold War? Yes. Sorry, I guess I didn't specify. Swamp is available in all 3 eras in Cold War and in World War II.
Sounds great. More for our fans here to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of the Wiesel here, why don't we go ahead and give one of those bad boys away here? Everything
Like I
was
said, if you
fine.
can't beat them, join them. Who's going to be our
Alright.
lucky winner?
If you'd like to enter for a chance to win your very own Diesel here, go ahead and enter in this link here.
I think it was T-Kane. I actually stream bombed him. What do you call it? Stream sniped him
Right.
on his Tuesday stream. They were doing a lot of Visa matches themselves, and I think he coined the term the jousting tank for that one. So we had some fun. I joined into a few matches, and we played the community map as well. So a lot of fun with some Visa missile play. I guess, hey, speaking of the community map, we did release that map back into the custom games as part of the Valiant season. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, we did apply some changes based on the community feedback, as well as super test. So trying to make a little bit more balanced ideas, trying to lean into trying to get you more playable space, because yes, we very much heard that there's too much water in the map and players want to use more of the space to be gameplay usable space in there as well. And we are still continuing on with more updates as we move forward. And as of this stream, I won't share. We don't really have any more content to share at this time of where we are taking the map. But maybe next season, you guys will see some drastic changes that we will be applying to the map itself.
Awesome.
All right, so up next, we also re-released the bundles for the Valkyria Chronicle tanks and commanders. That is the Japanese Tier 8 medium Edelweiss, and also the Tier 8 heavy Nameless tanks. This will also come with the 2D commanders, Welkin Gunther and Carissa Kantz0rz. So much like a lot of our licensed content, we can't always promise that these will be available in the near future, or if at all, because license agreements could have to go through a lot of discussions and agreements and working out the schedule and how we can fit them in there. So if you haven't had your chance to get yourself the Edelweiss or the Nameless, now is your time to do so. Get them while they are available. But if you do already own these tanks, we do have a bit of an event going on where you can use them in battle and get rewarded with extra XP and silver just for playing and battling with them. Speaking of XP, String Theory, a fan favorite challenge op, is also back. This op goes years back, and it's still kind of a favorite. And I don't even think we've made really any adjustments to this one because it's just been kind of the perfect chef's kiss.
Right.
String together multiple wins in a row, and you can continue to increase your XP earns for every consecutive winning battle that you guys get. So hopefully you're banking on XP and making some good earnings there. String Theory, like I said, is back this week. Premium contracts. I know contracts come up quite a bit in terms of what's the next one coming, what's available now. This week, we have the Chinese Tier 8 Medium Legion 59 Patton. So not even strictly a mercenary tank, but yes, we are looking into premium tanks that you can also get just through the contract system. And again, check out the contracts tab, and that's where you can sign up for that contract and start working through the challenges available for your opportunity to earn yourself your own Legion 59 Patton. And we can't forget, we also celebrated International Women's Day. That was just this past Wednesday. You can find our brand new commander. Here she is, Mary the Mechanic, which is being added into our store, plus some Commander XP and Commander XP 2 free XP conversion bonuses, where you can get 1 gold that will bag you 32 free XP. And Commander skill respecs are also 50% off, as will Commander skill swap. So lean into that if you guys been needing any sort of some more free XP or been looking into reevaluating the skills allotted to your commanders. We have some discounts for you this week. And then if you follow any of our socials on Twitter and Facebook, etc., Instagram, get to know some of our women who also work with us on World of Tanks Modern Armor, who get some shout outs also as part of International Women's Day, such as KB and Lady O. They kind of give a brief synopsis of their favorite map in the game, their favorite tank, favorite game mode. I think Monster Mash is still winning by a landslide based on the responses I'm seeing from them. But check us out on the socials if you'd like to get to know some of our women in the workplace who work very hard to deliver the content to you, the players. And then up next, I know you showcased the graphic very briefly, so let's get into that one. K9 Veterans Day coming March 13th. Starting from today, we honor these K9s who have served. We've got Sark and Jan Coast Commanders available to earn, plus they'll also be available in store along with the T-3485 Rudy. We all love our dogs. I think what we're kind of missing here is like an opportunity. Like we haven't had a dog commander in quite a while. That might be something we bring up in the next production meeting, something to brainstorm. Would players be interested in more dog commanders in the game? Is that something that we should put on the schedule and planning?
Why not? Why not, right? More dogs, more bears, more a little bit of everything, right?
Schedule it in for maybe next year's K9 Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. How is our pending giveaway going for the VSO?
We are ready to announce our winner here. Drum roll, please. And our winner is Let Me Millie.
Let Me Millie.
Let Me Millie. Congratulations. I'm going to go ahead and copy your name in chat right here in case I'm mispronouncing it, but you are our lucky winner today.
Fantastic, and congratulations. I see Nate Unix over here. Dog commanders would be sweet. Tinka Delphia, yes, 3D Zarek and Jankos, please. Bark warnings are cool. Cats, Mr. SBG, shout out in the chat. Yes, more. Okay, there's a lot of love for dogs. Get some tigers in there.
That'd be great.
All right. I will talk to the team. We'll see what we can do about getting some dog commanders in here. Let's see. So we did a wrap up on a lot of the content and announcements that came out of this week. Before we get on to next week, let's do another giveaway. Let's let this one kind of cook in the background for a little bit. A few weeks ago, we released our Alt Proto AMX 30. How about let's pick out 2 lucky winners for their chance to receive an Alt Proto AMX 30.
Sounds great. If you haven't entered, here is a link. If you already entered before, you're all set for the rest of today. Alrighty. So that is for 2 lucky winners for the Alt Proto AMX 30, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. All
right.
Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in store for our players next week.
Okay. Dream Machines. I believe this was a challenge op that we provided in the past at some point, and starting March 14th and running all the way through April 10th. You'll be able to earn points for every multiplayer battle in which you are one of the top 5 XP earners of your team. So not of the game itself, but top 5 of your team. So that's a total of 10 individuals of any given match that will have an opportunity to earn points. And you collect the points and you get a chance to spend them in the challenge tab, where you can choose between boosters, silver, premium time, or even more incentivizing here, a new shiny tank. And up for grabs, starting with a tier 7 American Super Hellcat tank destroyer for all of our snipers out there. If that's not quite your jam, you're not really into the TDs and you are more of a heavy hitter and maybe into the high tier environments, we do have the tier 8 Swedish Emil 1951 heavy tank, or alternatively the tier 9 Soviet Object 752, also a frontline heavy tank. But also for our Cold War audience out there, we also have, as part of the Dream Machines, you can also earn yourself the Era 3 Western Alliance TCM AGS light tank. Okay, and then we at Wargaming are also going to be celebrating St. Patrick's Day coming next week. Lucky keycards will be coming back. Some of the lucky commanders are soon to be retired now. So if you do want one, head over to the store to pick them up in 1 mega bundle priced at 50% off. Very fantastic. And then we also have our Luck of the Irish Challenge, where you must win 10 battles and get a random drop of anything ranging from silver boosters, XP boosters, and of course, lucky inscriptions and emblems to customize the appearance on your tanks as to your liking. And then it wouldn't be St. Patrick's Day or the Luck of the Irish without talking about a little bit of gold to silver conversion. We will be setting some discounts here as well, where you can convert your gold to silver. For every gold, you can get 600 silver rather than the default 1 to 400 conversion rate. And then lastly, we also have booster bundles that will include the Banshee Comet that will be coming to the store for a week as well.
I know I just showed off that that asset, but I really do like the Banshee Comet here. It looks pretty cool.
Yes. I just realized we're talking about all this St. Patrick's Day. I wore green by accident today.
Well, there you go. I got green little highlights around me. This is my green screen too.
I was gonna say, I'm glad I'm not like set up with a green screen environment. I would just be a floating head in a hoodie right now.
Listen, Mr. Bam, we could set that up for you next time.
Goliath Games, when are we getting the Tankz0rz and Bam bobbleheads? Okay, well, we'll try to hash that one out for next time, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the last bit of content to talk about for next week, trade-ins. Who's been looking forward to the next set of trade-ins? We have a large list here. You'll be able to find more information and a full breakdown of this list of tanks available. I'll go ahead and throw a few mentions here. We have the HMH Chrysler K, the Astron Rex 105mm, the Chimera, the Diamondback Mark I. I actually love that tank. The Atomic Centurion, the Nomad Somowa SM, the Orochi Oni, one of our multi-turret tanks, the Skoda T56, the Barracuda Emil 51, the Wojtek, the Turtle, the Trinity Mark II, one of the longest barrels in our game, but a very sick red-looking tank, might I say, and another mercenary tank, the Banana Buster, another personal favorite, the Super M48, the MBT-70, Type 59D, Optic 934, and a T-72 M1, and so much more. Like I said, these tanks will be available in the trade-in, and please feel free to check out our article after the stream for a little bit of follow-up on more of the specifics there. And then, finally, the Long Bomb contract will be making its debut once more in the contracts tab. If that was a tank you guys were looking forward to, just like the Legion 59 Patton, check out our contracts tab. Long Bomb is coming back to you in a contracts tab near you.
Awesome.
And that is our wrap on a lot of the content and announcements we have coming next week. Okay, before we get into our shout-outs, let's go ahead and announce our winners. Who's receiving the Ultra Proto AMX30 here today?
Let's take a look and download these entries here. And our winner is Motown Junk FC. Congratulations. And
congrats.
Our second winner here is Discra. Congratulations to both of you. I'm going to go ahead and enter your names in chat so you can know who you are. But congratulations. You are our lucky winners.
Real quick, I did see a few people are mentioning in the chat something about the giveaway link the giveaway has ended.
I'll take a look right now. It should be running till tomorrow.
Okay. We got you, chat. All right. And we do have one more giveaway, but we'll get to that one pretty shortly. So we'll make sure everything is kind of tightened up on our end and that giveaway is functional. All right, let's get into our shout-outs category. As always, the individuals that we make mention in these amazing battle feats and milestones here will be receiving confidential key cards. And typically we look at users that have accomplished these feats just in the past week with a lot of our newly released tanks and so much more. So starting off in the Alt Proto AMX, one of our community contributors, Hinkul PL, was able to achieve the following: total max kills in a single battle, 9. Total max damage done in a single battle, 7,639. And then total maximum experience earned in a single battle, 2,993. Congrats to you, Hinkul. And then the Wiesel 1A1. Of course, we got to talk about this one a little bit. Our own community ambassador, Kellen, with a total max kills in a single battle of 9. That's a lot of missile kills. Then we have X-Terminator 0907 with both a total max damage in a single battle of 18,032 and also total silver earned, I would have to guess probably in that same single battle of, is that 449,823 silver. That's almost 500,000 silver right there. Amazing. And then up next, we have Dotod, which T-Kane has gracefully spotted this gamer tag and translated it in German for us to the death, with a total max combined assist, that's including radio and track assist, in a single battle of 21,481. Reminder, that's in the Wiesel 1A1. Getting that much radio and track assist is kind of astounding. That splash damage must be really keeping some of his opponents really in a good tight spot for his allies to get that damage, or doing a really good job just kind of being a passive scout out there in the field. And then up next, we'll wrap this up with our milestone. A huge thank you and massive congratulations, as always, starting with Dr. Uberdrive, Black Spider 55, Heal Me, that's 4 E's in a row, and Mr. Cleaner PL for reaching their 100,000th battle. Congratulations. And then up next, Sergey 964 and Heaven a Time for reaching their 110,000th battle. Congrats to you two.
And as always, that's
a lot of battles.
But also, that's a lot of, what was that again?
Combined assist.
21,000, almost 22,000 radio and track assist. That is a lot. And be interesting to see how they did that. So,
well, we should check. So I had a chance to look at these battle feats ahead of time before the stream. I should have taken a look to see what is the absolute max combined assist damage ever done in the game, and what tank kind of takes that crown.
Well, sounds like we have our question for our neighborhood engineer for next week. So maybe they could assist with that.
All right. We brought this up for our past couple streams. Super test applications. We offered users, if you wanted to be included as part of our super test program, that is where you get to be included in some early content before it ever goes into the live environment and help us on the development team figure out and tune certain elements of tank balances, maps, features that are incoming into the game. We open up an opportunity for players like you to join our ranks and I have to say it, we have now closed these applications. We have gotten quite a few hundred to go through, and we have begun reviewing. So thank you very much for everyone for your interest. What we will stress now is please keep an eye out on your emails. We hope to get the acceptance emails out within the next 2 following weeks. Okay. And then we'd like to bring this one to attention in the past couple streams, and we'll probably kind of keep this as a regular cadence as well, because we know as any online gaming community and environment, there would happen to be some more toxic players out there that might have some poor sportsmanship like play or trying to attempt to push you off cliffs, etc. It happens. We all hate it. We're not very happy about it as well. We do encourage, if you guys cite these sort of circumstances in the game, please use our in-game reporting feature, because yes, we do go through these, we do vet these internally, and our customer service team will personally review each and every single one of these as efficiently and quickly as possible as their time allows. And so just to kind of be clear that we do go through these, I want to make mention that in this past week we had a total of 16 temporary player bans, thanks to the in-game reporting that you, the players, have sent us. And unfortunately, 1 permanent ban to some user out there that may have pushed their toxicity maybe a little bit too far. And then also we're trying to keep an eye out for any sort of clan names that might be a little insensitive or offensive in some ways. So also just in this past week, we had to disband 6 clans in total, and 12 clans had their clan names changed for the same reasons.
Sounds great. Keeping our community nice and tidy.
We're trying here. We know it's not an immediate thing. You guys can put in the reports. It might take it could go from a few days or a few weeks. We make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure the criteria for why a player is being reported is accurate and within reason.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we go ahead and do another giveaway here?
Yes.
Q&A sections here. What should we give away, Mr. Bam?
Okay. Let's do one last opportunity for a lucky user to win a Wiesel 1A1 tow. Get more missiles out there on the battlefield. Who's going to have it?
Sounds great. Go ahead and enter into the giveaway if you haven't already. If you have, you're all set for the day. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our Q&As for the week here. Our first question here is from Badger118. Any plans for an equipment sale?
This one we've seen a few times before, and we have alerted and brought it to attention with our events team, just because we know players want this. So happy to announce that they are able to get one on schedule, and you guys will be seeing something in regards to equipment sales sometime later this month. Stay tuned.
Watson CZ is asking, when can we expect to see big buffs for premium World War II tanks?
As of right now, we don't have anything definitively written into the schedule. What I will point out, as we've always been doing much of our Tankz0rz Reforged program, our very own Max Chaos goes through a lot of the tuning and review for the tanks that go through their buffs and tuning. So within the time that he has available and allotted, he goes through these tanks one little at a time, and then we try to get a nice lump sum out to the players at some given date. So once we have a good collection of premium tanks with some tuning changes, we'll feel, and we have confidence this is a good amount to release out there and has been tested thoroughly, then we'll kind of fit that into a schedule, and we shall let you know.
Awesome. Question here from Nerdy Platypus 206. Are asking, can the position of the MOEs on tank barrels be adjusted for certain tanks? For example, tanks like the 279E and the 705A, because they start so close to the gun mantle, it makes it a little hard to see them when you're in first and third person.
And sometimes that's interesting in the third person. I understand when you won't be able to see your MOEs in first person, right, because it might be way too close up to the barrel. This has been a little bit of a back and forth process working with the design and tank art, because a lot of the tanks that we develop now, we try to get very creative and adding some cloth drapery onto the barrels themselves to give it some authentic camo look, etc. Give it a more unique look as well. The Object 705 that you pointed out more specifically, and a shout out to the community team and Live Ops who provided me with some reference imagery just so I know what I'm looking at here. The Object 705 was made and designed with this kind of drapery around the barrel. So the MOEs in that specific case had to be kind of pushed up closer to the mantlet of the barrel itself, just so otherwise it would have been completely covered by the cloth itself. And then to kind of describe the 270E, it is actually in its standard place that meets the kind of where we put all of our MOEs on most other tanks. So it is something we try to be mindful of when developing tanks with unique skins on them or looks. Like, how are the MOEs going to appear on this? This is also true for like inscriptions and emblems as well, to try to be mindful, like, hey, when we put the skin on this tank, suddenly it's covering up the emblem, and we ask ourselves, well, what might look more cool or exciting to the user. Do they still need that emblem on there, or do we need to showcase the skin a little bit further? And often we try to leave it to the player choice, where they can still have the emblem and maybe try to shift it over so it is visible somewhat, or at least to the extent of allowing the skin to not cover it up. But in any case, yeah, to sum up, because I did ramble on a little bit, we will continue to be mindful of it, but no actual plans right now to kind of shift the MOEs if there are sort of extra aesthetics applied to these tanks.
Okay. Next question here from Vassal of Tripoli. They're asking, is there any possibility of a player-created skins to be added?
I feel like we've done something like this. Actually, in fact, we have done this in the past. For those of you who are avid forum users back in the day, you may know of a player called Grey Weasel UK, who used to post some really great looking skins. And as a matter of fact, you can see those in the game today. But after going through the process, nowadays, we have to consider a lot more legal complications due to kind of intellectual property rights that a player comes up with this. Are we actually allowed to take their content and put it into the game? We have to go through like a commission partnership, sign contracts, a lot of the legality of taking user-created content and making it official things that, well, we could sell in the game for currency. So it's a great idea, but I can't really put a needle in there just yet to say this is something we will pursue in the near future.
Okay. Next question here from Kellen asking, would it be possible to begin bringing the highly requested 3D skins from PC to the console version?
We have seen those. PC does have a lot of very outlandish skins, including some very futuristic skins as well. That's like, wow, like it's going to feel a little out of place in our game to an extent. I know we lead into some fantasy as well, but there are some fantastic skins on the PC. Yes, we do have the capability to create a certain number of skins, and slowly we begin to kind of roll them out, a lot from our own internal creative ideas and also trying to take a look at what PC is doing. The truth of the matter is our artists and limited capacity of art to keep them focused on other priorities. We might need them for other stuff going into various seasons, along with our tanks and events contained within them. So it's a bit out of reach currently just to kind of grab all of their tank skins and apply them directly onto ours. It's not a very easy transitional process. But I mean, to that extent, this might be a good community opportunity to send a poll to you, the players, and see like, what has WoT PC done, and is there any skins that you guys would like absolutely love to see in World of Tanks Modern Armor? And that might help us get a better gauge of like, well, let's just tackle this one at a time. Let's see which ones are highly requested, and we can take a look about implementing those sooner.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into these other questions over here that we have. Let's see, starting with Hammer Bro asking, what is the next map coming back? Hopefully it's Live Oaks.
I have been seeing this quite a bit. Live Oaks seems to be a popular one. And I'll give a shout out to Degeneratio, who is also like, hey, just a heads up. You also mentioned after the Swamp map has come out, you might be more willing to talk about the next follow-up map. Shame on me for putting that out there in the world and say, hey, let's start talking about the next map. Because yes, we got Swamp out now, so I guess we could start talking about what would be coming next. Let's put it this way, because we got quite a few more weeks until the next season, but I'd be more than happy to drop a little bit of hints here and there of what could be coming next. What do you guys think? I see a few people chiming into the chat. Throw out some map names. It will be another returning map that we have in mind. Throw out some map names. I'll tell you if I happen to see it here in the chat somewhere, and maybe we'll leave it at that for this week, and maybe a new hint for next week.
Look closely at Bam's left eye if it twitches.
I gotta put on my poker face here.
Oh no.
Let's see. You got a lot of people clamoring for Live Oaks, Liberty Falls. That's a nice oldie, goodie, but an oldie. That's a smaller size map too, if I recall. Ensk. That's another smaller map too. Fjords, South Coast, Northwest.
Oh, the
Province. I
good
do.
old fjords.
Oh, Fjords. Berlin.
Anything bad?
Oh, someone did ask. Hold on, where did I miss it? Aussie Binga, map rotation. Haven't seen the swamp map once. So we did increase its frequency just yesterday, later in the afternoon, I believe it was, because it was meant to go live with an increased frequency, but at first it was kind of along the same weighting as the rest of the maps. So it should be out there with a bit of an increased frequency, not an astronomical weighting to it, but it should be appearing a little bit more often.
Just something to help a little bit, right?
Yeah, it is out there. It is certainly out there.
Awesome. Let's see. Another question here asking, do any of these crew skills work with ATGMs? Snapshot, steady aim, running gun, muffled shot. Do you have any info about that?
So a lot of these are really lean into the accuracy buffs. So since you are the accuracy, because keep in mind, when firing a shell, there's a lot of RNG component, and the dispersion can go anywhere within that dispersion ring. When you are firing a missile, there really isn't dispersion anymore. You are manually aiming with the red dots where you want that missile to land. So to be quite honest, those skills don't really, will not really benefit you by any means. So yes.
Okay. We have, let's see, Ukrainian B616 asking, can we get the rest of the maps back? Have all tiers play on them and matchmaker fix because I can't grind, and the weather in the maps. They want the weather variants as well. Basically all the maps.
All the maps, fixed matchmaker. I mean, this has been an always ongoing thing that we've been adapting with the game. Yes, we've definitely heard it from the community. We know that, yes, we pulled back a lot of maps because we were working on a visual update to a lot of the maps to adapt to 4K, to keep in mind of the newer systems coming out, and to better solidify ourselves with future hardware, coming down the line, making sure that we have our engine and system supported enough that these maps will be ready for any sort of new hardware in the future. So a lot of the maps, believe it or not, we had to strip away a lot of assets and replace them, the foliage more especially. So a lot of the old assets that we used were much lower res, and we couldn't simply just up-res them anymore. So it was kind of replaced with brand new ones to not only make the maps just look great, but just also we need to be able to support the higher res textures in a better streamlined capacity. So we know about the issues and wanting more maps. Our initial goal in the past 2 years was trying to increase the number of maps in rotation, because that was back when we had an issue where a lot of players were hitting back-to-back maps, and we heard the concerns on that and made sure it was going to take time, because we have a decent sized environment art department, and we have to plan it out accordingly, that we give them content that they can, what's the word I'm looking for here, effectively deliver on a per milestone basis, and we feel is a good level of polish as well. So we're continuing on. There will be more maps. I know right now we're kind of at a single map seasonality release that may or may not change in the future. I may or may not be hinting at things, but we do have some plans of more maps in the future. Matchmaker, on that point as well, that is something we are also improving upon and running some tests. Over the summer, we did a lot of pairs matchmaking and class-based matchmaking, which now in World War II is in full effect at all times. RD 2.0, that's another thing that we considered very heavily on, and how many RDs are allowed per team per match. And we will continue to watch the matchmaker health and quality to make sure their matches are well balanced to the best of our capacity. Now, if you're also talking about in more recent history, a lot of matches getting kind of oversaturated with the like Centurion AVRE or the Wiesel. I mean, we are also very well aware of that. But again, that comes down to popularity of tanks and that players kind of jump into the matchmaker. And there's a lot of matches just kind of filling in with them. Give it time. The matchmaker will kind of even it out. There'll be a little bit less AVREs in there, a little bit less Wiesels, etc. But back on the map side of thing, we are looking into potentially ways to shake up the map rotation a little bit. So as of the Valiant season, this is when we got our support back to kind of change the frequency of maps in rotation a little bit. So we started that off with Airfield because that was a newly return map that we brought back to you in January. And then coming with the release of Swamp, we increased that one in frequency. And in the future, we might try things out like bringing Mines and maybe Abbey into the high tier environments for a short term, just to kind of give players a little bit more gameplay variety.
Sounds great. Yeah, I know we mentioned Mines a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I mean, I always thought that was pretty fun. Just having, everything shaken up a little bit, so it's not the same.
Once in a while, like, because we had Mines in there permanently in the high tier range, and we listened to the player base. While the balance of it suggested it was very well balanced and worked out, it was often coming up by the community that like Mines is not playable. The matches go by pretty quickly. You're on top of the players.
And stuff faster.
Yeah, it's a very fast environment when you can get into the conflict right away. So, but to some players in our community, that is still there's fun to be had there. Right. So we want to make sure we kind of vary it up a little bit, but make sure it doesn't stick around too long like that.
Awesome. Next question here from Motorized TV, and they're asking the Minotauro when?
Minotauro. No dates on that one just yet. Apologies.
Awesome. Let's see. Next question here. Cobra King. Where are the double barrel tanks? I think they're talking about the bifurcated guns.
For the bifurcated. This one's been very back and forth with us in design and fit it into our schedule. So we're trying to aim for something this year. No promises. We're still kind of back and forth, like I said, on the implementation process of it. So stay tuned.
Next question here from Ukrainian Beast asking, when will the tank lines from PC be on console?
Might need a little bit more specifics. We are very well aware that PC has much more tanks than us at this point in time, and are still releasing new lines. And we slowly release more tank lines over time as well. In fact, something very fresh and exciting might be coming next season. Can't really divulge into that information just yet, but more tank lines incoming, absolutely. What those might be, stick around and we will eventually talk about them.
Next question here from the Wolf Pack. They're asking, is there a possibility of some Cold War tanks coming to World War II? For example, the M113 or the Tyran?
Well, we have brought over some already, but specifically the M113, no plans for that one. The Tyran is already in World War II, sitting prettily at tier 10.
Awesome. Next question here from Bloody War Llama asking, any news on a random button for filters? I'm up to 530 tanks and would like one very much. I think they're talking about just having it like pick a tank for you, right?
Pick a tank, any tank, and throw me into a match. It's a very interesting idea. Nothing on this front just yet. This comes down to a very common answer I have to relay is this is a UI bandwidth thing that we have to request and prioritize. And there's a lot of other things kind of coming down the line in the future that we really need UI support on more heavily. But this is certainly something on our back burner list that we can at least be mindful of and reconsider in the future.
All right. Next question here is Fionic Lou, and their question comes in a three-parter, so we'll break it apart here. So they say, hello, I have three questions. First question is, will our artillery get a buff because it is impossible to play with them?
Currently, no buffs planned. We've gone through months of iteration and testing and tuning, as well as live testing of RD changes as part of our RD2O initiative. So we did a tuning pass on this class, and how they are currently placed is in a pretty decent spot. And I know I did promise that I would provide some more clarity and updates on what the stats and data might showcase right now. I'll try to be mindful of that and have something maybe prepared for the next couple streams just to kind of see where they are at. But yeah, like I said, right now, no plans. But I'll try to follow up on that. And you said they have 2 more questions?
Correct. The next part is, will rockets ever get nerfed?
I wonder if this is in response to the VSOLs out there. Nothing currently on the plan. We do have a backlog ticket that we're looking into, because this also came up quite a bit from the community about an arming distance of ATGMs. That is trying to prevent users and tanks firing an ATGM within very close proximity to their target. So something we're thinking about. No commitment to it. I'm not promising that will be a natural feature we push in. We need to test and make sure this is worthwhile and something that is makes sense in the game. So,
and
yeah.
Their third and final part of their question is, will mercenaries show up for Cold War?
Yes. Anything is possible. We have some plans to maybe introduce Merc tanks later this year in the Cold War ecosystem.
Awesome. Next question here from JW Dobbs, and they're asking, can we get an update on the minimum arming distance for ATGMs, which we were just speaking about? Missiles weren't meant for shotgunning, and they need an average of about 50 meters minimum for them to activate.
That was ironic. That was just
right
after the other question. Yeah, like I said, still thinking about it. We have a design ticket on it. More conversations need to be going on. Like I said, it is backlogged, and we have a lot of other priorities on our plate at this time.
Awesome. Let us see here. What do we have? Next question from 0079 or King Ifrit. Sorry. Can we get tier 2 tanks as contracts? People want to get them.
Fascinating. Well, so it is a retired tech tree. Yeah, for all those that don't know or maybe are unaware, we did retire tier 1 and 2 tanks some years ago. So a contract system currently can't be used through the system just because they are retired. This would be additional functionality we would have to build into the game. Not saying it's impossible, because I do think it's an interesting idea, but right now only the premium tanks can be sold or issued through contracts. Anything that we can basically put up in the store during special events for players to get their hands on them if they want them. But I will say, thank you for the suggestion. That's an interesting one.
Awesome.
Here's the other tricky part, though. Say if we have a tier 2 contract, but we're asking, for the most part, a lot of our contracts lead the players to that tier range, right? Like you're working toward a tier 8 contract, and it's like, okay, we'll start you off at a lower tier, build you up to tier 6, then to tier 8. But if we don't have tier 2s available to the players, we're like asking them, all right, play tier 3s and play tier 5s, and now you can get yourself a tier 2. Again, it's just an interesting scenario. Not saying no to the concept, but there might be something to play around with there.
Next up here, the Muffin Man would like to know, when will we get the license for Oddballs Sherman?
The Oddballs Sherman. We can't answer any questions in regards to future licensing. If we had any agreements, we honestly wouldn't even be allowed to talk about it due to contracts of said agreements. So, quite apologies on that one.
Awesome. Firely WATP is asking, any idea when the Skoda 56 will be back on sale?
Fortunately enough, I just mentioned it in this very stream when going through the trade-ins. Of all the tanks that were included, I did pick out the Skoda 56. So yes, Skoda 56 coming in next week, trade-in event. Look for it then.
Awesome. USMC GT73 is asking, can we get the Chisel for Cold War Era 1?
Ooh, interesting. No current plans. quite honestly, if we're thinking about Merc tanks and Cold War, we're coming from the direction of coming up with something brand new and inventive that might fit into the Cold War. But I appreciate that suggestion.
Hone 001, can we get reinforced rack in Cold War to be improved a bit?
So the reinforced ammo rack equipment currently increases the durability by 50%. Quite honestly, this is already a substantial buff. So we would have to check the stats and data on that if there is any actual desire or needs that warrant a buff to it. So we'll have to look into it. But I mean, just looking at it at face value, it probably is good where it sits.
Madeir is asking, Wargaming, can we have the Chrysler TV8 tank, please?
Not too sure about that one. Thank you again for the community team because they provided an image here. I'm not sure how quickly you might be able to showcase that one, Tankz0rz. Yeah. That is a very top-heavy tank. Very odd for a vehicle. Yeah, not too sure it will work too well. Yeah, if anyone wants to check it out, Chrysler TV8.
Let me go ahead and see if we can show what we have here.
Holy cow!
And
it looks like a blimp.
It does look very blimpy.
A blimp on treads.
So there we go.
Like I'm a little disappointed by how small the barrel is.
It's I want to know what's going on inside. You know, the whole, I don't know. There's a lot of space going on, and there's it all ammo? Is it all? So is there like 30 people having a pizza party in there? You know.
Bloody War Llama, please add it.
Sounds pretty crazy. It looks pretty crazy.
I feel like I can eat tanks.
But what was the conclusion on this one, Mr. Bam?
Most likely not.
Okay.
This is actually the first time I'm seeing this tank myself too.
So I've never seen this one either.
Yeah. Funny enough, when we God, I don't remember what arrangement of tanks they were. Back when we were initially designing much of the early mercenary tanks, designs like this kind of came up, trying to try out some larger turrets on some smaller chassis tanks. It was goofy looking, and ultimately we walked away from it. So if we didn't apply it to the mercenaries, I don't think this one will be making it in. I need to do some historical research on this one. Is it just a concept?
I mean, I would assume it's a concept. I don't know. I mean, we could definitely look into it, right? I mean, we are everything tanks here, right? I like Goliath's message here. Yep. Pizza eating crew in 3D would be cool. So there we have it. Moving on along here. Next question from Meme Master. They're asking, what is the next Cold War bonus for?
Or premium bonuses. Right now, we don't have any premium bonuses scheduled, but we have been testing some events such as the recent Name Your Price challenge, where you can pick the bonus you want. That included like Silver, Tank XP, Commander XP, and this one has been one of the most popular events that we have run. So we got the feedback; it was well received. So something for us to kind of plan and consider more in the future.
And well. We have another question here from Madeir asking, where's the rest of the Girls in Panzer tanks commanders, or tanks and commanders?
This comes back to the licensing agreements and content on that. So conversations that we need to have and think about on our end. And if we did have things to relay, well, we probably wouldn't be allowed to say so anyhow.
Awesome. Next question here from Loaded Psycho. Can we get more of the pick your week-long boosts that we did last week, the 2x XP and the Commander XP and the silver boosts?
I like that a lot of these questions are aligning pretty well, because we just kind of talked about that one as well in regards to the Name Your Price. Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you, A Loaded Psycho. Like, we're very glad you like it. Like we mentioned, it's been very well received and popular. So our events team is trying to figure out some new and inventive ways and events to run a little bit more often to deliver similar reactions.
like the way that this next question is worded from Blade Runner. Any juicy secrets about clan updates?
No juicy updates. And quite honestly, I don't really have any dry updates on this either. We know clan items and clan features are highly desired and comes up quite often, as well as some sort of clan leaderboard. We do have some documentation and some tickets just for our own consideration and how we want to adapt it into the game. But beyond all that, no actual plans, no details to share at this time.
Like the next user's gamer tag here, Urban Pop Tart, and they're asking, is there a reason why the road to swamp is still going on?
Oh, so when you guys load, yes, because when you load in, you still see this banner for it, and you see the milestone break. Yes, it's so that players that do join in, it's kind of to give acknowledgement that the goal was hit, and the map is now in rotation, kind of bringing some excitement and something to look forward to in rotation. Because not always do we have players logging in on a daily basis. This might be beneficial to those that maybe haven't come into the game in 2 weeks and were unaware of this event going on, even at all. And just even acknowledgement that, hey, wow, there's a swamp map has come back into the game. That's pretty cool. It will go away once our articles release on Tuesday, where its official announcement and its introduction is kind of relayed on over.
Next question from Mahama, and they're asking, when will the next silver multiplier event happen? They're grinding multiple lines and they're going broke.
Need a little help there. Well, we do. If you have sitting on a bit of a bank of gold, we do have our gold to silver conversion bonus as part of our St. Patrick's Day event next week, where you can pick up some 2x silver boost bundles in the store, upwards of 50% off.
Awesome. A couple of ways to get extra silver in your pocket there. Killed by Boom is asking, how about the Polish Black Panther? Can we get that as a premium tank in Cold War?
Let's see. Is that the K2 Black Panther? I got a note here that it might be actually a tank from South Korea. So that is actually a modern vehicle from 2014. And because we label ourselves as World War II and Cold War, we're not modern warfare. We're our Cold War. We can't move that far into the future with our tank content just yet.
Awesome. The Hackers2K is asking question. Can we change the profile picture of standard 2D commanders? This should have been included in the commander customization update.
I'm trying to figure out. So I mean, the picture that you guys see for the 2D commanders is who they are. Otherwise, you could turn them into any commander in the game that isn't what was just a customizable feature is for. This is to allow you to change the name or the VO of the commander, but not who the commander itself is.
Let's see, a couple more questions here. Max Minor Tanker, is it possible to reduce the power difference between tiers since +1 -1 is not a viable option? That is a buff. Tier 8s to tier 9, and then power levels of 9s to 9.5, or some other way to reduce the power difference.
Well, this is a bit of a power creep of trying to move all the tiers a little bit closer to 10, it sounds like. Because, yes, we do know that it's not always the most favorable situation when you're a tier 8 and perhaps a tier 10 game. Problem is, if we were to, say, boost a tier 8 tank to be a little bit more comparable to a tier 9, we are now creating a problem for the tier 6s and the tier 7s that might end up in the lower tiers. So this becomes kind of a wide spectrum of just power creeping all the tanks across all the tiers, so they all kind of match up to the power levels. We always go through a lot of big sweeps of tuning changes, whether that's Tanks Reforged or on a new season release. The tank design team and our tank lead will go through and actually apply specific tank changes to better adapt select tanks in their tier. But doing something across the board, not a viable solution for us, unfortunately.
Are you sure you don't want to just power creep every tank to 10?
All tanks are now viable in tier 10. Bring that Cunningham, guys.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine?
I am no longer just a paperweight tank. I can hold my own here.
Let's see. So folks is asking, possible for, is there a possibility for all skin sale?
Well, we do often put out a 50% discounts on skins. So nothing to announce right now, but keep an eye out on the news. We might have something announced in our socials or our articles, or hey, we'll probably be on stream here in the near future announcing some tank skin sales. So stay tuned.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. It looks like our support team here dropped off a link for the Chrysler TV8. Apparently it was a project in the 1950s. So,
ooh,
there you go.
We still have a pending giveaway, don't we?
We do. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. How many winners are we doing here? We're doing one lucky winner for the Wiesel. So
for the Wiesel ATGM launcher only tank.
Please bear with me as the computer is having a tantrum right now.
Uh-oh. Let's see, Maxzilla. Sorry, I guess while you sort this out, I'm taking a look at some of the questions here. Maxzilla, 1998. Any chance to add the ACU 57? I'll bring that up with the content team. I'll see. I'm not currently privy if we are thinking about that one on the schedule.
Alrighty, we have our winner here, and our winner is Jane K. Karosky. Jane Karosky.
Jane Karosky!
Oh, congratulations, Jane. You are the lucky winner today. Go ahead and enter your name, the chat, so we could all say congratulations.
Congratulations.
And
one last Wiesel for the day.
Wiesel for the road. And with that, we would like to thank everyone for hanging out with us and listening to the news for World of Tanks this week and next week. So if you'd like more information, please join us next week, as we'll have more information to share with you. And in the meantime, we'll see you on the battlefield, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And take care, everyone.
See you on the battlefield.
Bye-bye. And for those of you that are on Twitch, stick around and we'll go raid one of our community contributors.